$1 million AI elements. Today, I'm going to show you how to build AI websites for profit. These are based on things that I've been doing for many years that get results. We're going to talk about simple little elements that people will not only pay for, but will also help you get more conversions in your business. This is super important because once you learn these, you can't unlearn them. They're very straightforward, and we can use AI to create everything. In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, I used AI to create an entire challenge funnel. That's right, it registered people, gave them points automatically, upgraded them, in the whole 9 yards. And just last night, I was using AI to help me build some semi-complicated order forms that up until now, I had to have my programmer work on. So this is real-world stuff that can make a lot of money. Yep, that's right, the AI programming industry is huge.
Landing page, only $149. One-page checkout setup, just $199. Digital product delivery, $149. I can build all this for you for free. By 2030, the web creation industry will be valued over $130 billion.
So if you're excited to see everything, step by step, line by line, so that you can build AI websites in hours and get results, smash the like button. Because we're going to dive in the computer. I'm going to show you exactly how all of this works step by step so that you can build AI web elements for profit. Come on, let's go to work. Everyone, welcome to the show. Today what we're going to do is we're talking about these $1 million AI elements. These are elements that I have used with AI and even without AI. Before AI, we were making these and using them on websites, and they've made me a lot of money. Now, while I've made millions of dollars with these, I want you to remember that the vast majority of people trying to make money online make nothing. That means people watching these videos, consuming this content, most people make nothing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how these work, how these elements helped me make profit, and really what to do with it, right? How do we go through and understand what to do with AI? Now, we have a whole slideshow we're going to go through. I have loaded up here AI tools and some of my web servers so we can actually show you in real time how these work. What we're looking at is building high-performance websites with website conversion elements accelerated with AI technology. What this means is we're going to use the AI to do the heavy lifting and create things that are worth money to companies, to businesses, and to ourselves on our website. When we look at the hosting architecture, we went through this a little bit last week, but I'm going to go through and show you how it works so that you can go out there and set up websites for profit and hopefully make some money. Super important stuff. When we look at hosting, what you're going to see is you have regular web hosting where you go sign up for web hosting, which is basically a folder on a computer, or if you're doing dedicated hosting, it is a computer somewhere that is always online. With that, normally you'll have like cPanel, a file manager, a public HTML root directory, which is where all your files are, and a MySQL database storage. Now, all of this can be seen interactively over at gohubsite.com, where we have all of these notes and an interactive walkthrough of how web hosting, MySQL, and files work. This is super important because we got to go through and understand exactly what's going on so that we know what we're doing and how it works. Super cool. Now, going through here, looking at the skeleton of the website, you're going to see that HTML is like the skeleton, CSS is like the skin or the outfit or the design, and JavaScript is like the brain behind everything, how everything works, or the nervous system, as it were. Understanding this is super important because HTML, it's pretty easy, it's pretty basic, it's just a text file. AI can write HTML like the back of its hand. From what I see, AI understands HTML oftentimes better than it understands English or any other language. Think of it like the skeleton that defines what's coming through. Super, super important. Now, when we go through here and look at this, you also have CSS, which is like how the file's going to look, right? So there's different layers of each thing. Like you get out of bed, you put your outfit on, the outfit is like the CSS, that's what people see. That's like, oh, you have this cool thing, you have this, make the table blue, all of that stuff. Understanding this is important because once we get into the elements, this is how they're going to work. If you get one of these wrong or you tell the AI to do it a different way, it's going to cause you trouble later. I'll never forget what a friend of mine said years ago. He was running a membership site, making millions of dollars a year, and he had a custom hybrid model of a membership site. And once he ran a lot of people through it, he saw what broke really quick, and it was kind of a difficult thing to look at. Now, going through here, we're going to look at JavaScript, which is the muscles. Now, all of these are going to be different files. So you'll have like an HTML file, a CSS file, and a JavaScript. All of those will talk to each other to make the stuff work that we are going to create. So understanding that is important. HTML is like a orator. It's going to say, hey, this is what the document is. It makes it readable to the web. If you just have a JavaScript, nobody's going to understand it. It's a bunch of code. If you just have CSS, it's going to be like font 10, but it's not going to say what the actual thing says. So understanding these is very, very important, because when we go through and look at PHP, which is another file type, this is the server side of the brain. It's going to handle the thinking, the processing, the sending of emails, logging users in, sessions, running on the server, not the user's browser. This is important because even in like Google Chrome or whatever browser you're using, you can see here, this is running on my local computer, right? So even if it works for me, it might not work for other people. Understanding that's important when it gets into creating websites, creating things with AI. Next up, we're looking at MySQL or MySQL. MySQL is a database. Think of a database like a giant Excel file that is dynamically updated by the web and is password protected. So it's like its own everything. A lot of things run on this, like WordPress runs on a database. A lot of things that I've created run on databases. And when you start to understand how things fit together, this is really key because, again, this is how money is made online. And I'm going to pull up an example here for you over here so you can see some of the things that we're doing, because once I get into this list of elements, it's going to make a lot of sense and you're going to see where all of this fits in. Right, so let's see, I think it's AI Profit Scoop. Yeah, there it is. So on this one here, what you're seeing is a page I'm going to show you that was coded with AI, very simple to make, but then we built on it, and it was able to make an entire challenge around it, which is really cool. We have a challenge, we have prompts. All of this is all about understanding how things work and understanding, okay, this is how web files talk to each other. Super important. Understanding MySQL, again, that's where all the storage is. So like if I go here and I put my name and email in, right, that's going to take and put it into the MySQL and it'll log it for later. I'll show you exactly how this works. So if I go through and put a name, we'll just say Marcus, and we'll do like this right here. And when I log in like this, what you'll see is it's actually going to bring up my info. So now I'm opted in, so it sent it to my Aweber. I have a lead, and then it's going to go through and have like the live rankings of who has all the points. This is all stored in a database. Now, you could submit a prompt and get points and different things like that, and it works really well. I use this for my challenge. You can even go through and download the prompts. I was able to put a video here. It has like submit your domain, start your site, all different things like this, and you could go through and see everything that's there. Now, on this is just a regular PHP HTML page that is calling these different files. So it's very, very simple to do. All of these were very basic. What happens is behind the scenes, you have a bunch of files that this file is calling. Now, when you understand this, it's super important. Again, going over to gohubsite.com to see how it works, understanding, okay, how does all this fit in? And I'll give you a quick rundown of how everything fits in, because once we start to build this, this is going to be super important, especially if you're doing this for clients. If you don't understand this, you're going to limit your earnings, which is going to be very, very difficult. So understanding this at the get-go, I think even though it's kind of boring and kind of a pain in the neck, I think understanding it is going to help you in light years because you'll actually see how it works, okay? So let's go do a little rundown of how this stuff works so that you can understand it. What we're going to have here, and this is like the essence of vibe coding, so if you want to get into vibe coding, this is where you want to be, right? I've vibe coded things, made lots of money with vibe coding. I was actually one of the early adopters for vibe coding, and we still use it today. So what we have here is you have your host, which allows you to have a folder on a computer. Now, on that computer, there are things installed, much like you have a computer and you have Microsoft Word installed, right? If you didn't have Microsoft Word, it wouldn't be able to read a doc file. The internet works the exact same way. Now, in order to read all of these things that we need and be functional, it's going to have cPanel. cPanel allows you to have like a file folder, has SQL databases, it'll install WordPress and all kinds of other things, bulletin board systems, all kinds of things that you can install within that server. It makes it very easy. Now, also on there, you're going to have MySQL, which is SQL, which is under PHP MyAdmin. And what this does is it allows you to have different databases and things like that. All of this is going to work and talk to itself. Once you understand this and you know vibe coding, you are now getting into the realm of, yes, I can make websites that are $3,000, $10,000 or more, because now I'm understanding solutions. And if you're able to make a website a solution for a client or for yourself, that's what's going to take you into lots and lots of money territory, because now it's not just a website, it is a functional solution. Now, to us who know this stuff, it's just files on computers. That's literally all it is. Congratulations, Bill Gates got rich with files on computers, many of which he didn't even write himself. But that's how it works. You look at how he got rich. Microsoft DOS took a computer and made sense of all the files. That's what Microsoft DOS did. Windows made sense of it visually. Do you guys see the difference here? How it's like, oh, I get the difference. Instead of going to DOS and using this where I have to type in C, whatever, here's the file, run, execute, whatever, now I can go to Windows and click and I see the visual box of it. Understanding this, again, very boring, but you want to make money. This is where the money is made, is understanding this. Now, when we go through this, what we need to understand is, okay, this is where all of it fits. If I want to have a full solution where they have usernames and, maybe sell a product or whatever, I'm going to use a database or MySQL. If I want to go through and I want to have a front-end landing page, I'm going to use HTML or PHP. Or if I want to have all of these talk together, I can have this use this, okay? PHP can have lots of different scripts that talk to each other. Now, JavaScript is what's going to go through and make certain things happen. So if I go through and I'm like, hey, you know what? I want the user's data, their name to come up in lights. That's going to be JavaScript. Or I want a calculator that calculates this certain stuff. That's going to be JavaScript. Once you understand where all this fits, everything is going to start to change. Let me know if you guys like this as a comment in the chat box. Let me know you're following along. That way we could dive into the rest of it. Now, when we understand how all this works, you got the memory, you got the pages, you got all the things that talk to it, right? Very simple. This is going to help you understand AI. Lucky for me, I got into this when I had to learn it back in 1999. We had to understand all this stuff on our own because it wasn't automated. cPanel is not what it was today. You didn't have WordPress. You had to build things from scratch. Understanding that is key. This is why I'm able to make a lot of money with AI today, because I understood this. Understanding this is key. Let me know if you like it. Smash the like button. We'll keep going. Now, when we get into this, that's the basics of how it works. We'll show you, okay, here's cPanel. Same kind of thing. You could see File Manager. That's where you're going to go through and see all your files. You can go to other stuff, right? And understanding, okay, I can go to the files here. I can edit things, change things. You can see here you have like directories, all different things. You have blogs if you wanted to install WordPress, WordPress if you want to install it there, forums, all kinds of things here. Also, domains, zones, email. A lot of people don't know, but with your email, with your domain, you can actually have an email. So on this site, Blogging to the Bank, I can actually have, my whatever at bloggingtothebank.com. That would be an email that I can use. All of this relates to email. All of this is domains. And then you'll go through and you'll see, okay, now I also have PHP stuff. Don't mess with that. You don't need to do anything there. Going through here, this is important. This is databases. So if I wanted to set up a database, I can do that here. It's very cut and dry, very simple. You set up a database, you set up a password, you set up a username, add it to the database. Now the user can use that. Going through and understanding this, again, is key, because when you build solutions for customers, I'm talking about building websites that fetch a lot of money. And I'll never forget it. The first website I ever built that fetched a lot of money was a complicated website, not tech complicated, but like work heavy. I had to scan and images and all of this stuff. But I got $10,000 for that website, and back then, that might as well have been like $1 million now, right? Because that was a game changer, and I was like, wait a minute, people pay for this. And I went on to build a website company and then got into SEO and different things like that. These are the terms you're gonna need to know, either doing this for yourself, creating things, or for clients, right? Understanding that's key. And if you did PHP My Admin, or I usually go into Database Wizard, and it just takes like 2 seconds to make a database. And what'll happen is the AI is gonna tell you what to do. So it's almost like you have a programmer that is your AI that's walking you through how to use this stuff and will even remedy it alongside you. So back in the days when I was first learning web development, I was building websites, and if I screwed something up, I had to figure it out, or I had to pay someone thousands of dollars to help me figure it out. Now with AI, it literally does it for you, and this, my friends, is the strong suit of AI that's hitting one of the most lucrative areas of web marketing ever. And when we understand that, it's key, because now we can build everything. We're gonna go through these elements line by line. I'm gonna show you how they work with AI and show you where it will work. So the first one we have is what's known as an exit intent pop-up. This is one I recently put on, I think you put it on AIProfitScoop.com, the main site. And what it does is it takes your page, okay, so this was designed, this is a PHP page designed in AI. I think I used Gemini for this one. Gemini, if I want a pretty page, I'm gonna use Gemini. If I want a robust working solution, I'm gonna use Claude. If I want something fast, like a list, I'm gonna use ChatGPT. ChatGPT I'm using for very fast, repetitive, go understand this. If I'm using bulk, like the website we set up last week, Blogging to the Bank, I'm gonna use Manus, okay? Now, going back to the site we did last week, you can see it's already picked up in Google. It picked up all the pages, and a lot of them are actually ranking. So it's getting traffic, it's working, literally from the work that I did last week on the site. You guys are following along, you see how this works. If you like this stuff, check out AIProfitScoop.com. We just built a site yesterday, and we're gonna show you how everything works. It's literally like the place you go if you wanna see exactly what I'm doing with AI, over my shoulder, like, hey, this is how we're making money. There's nothing left out. Obviously, if you wanna like work with us or buy one of our sites, that's more, but just to be there to see and ask questions, I think is very, 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 very worthwhile. Now, going back to our list over here, the first one we're gonna look at is what's known as an exit intent pop-up. An exit intent pop-up helps you get more leads, because when someone goes to leave, it'll pop up and be like, are you sure you don't wanna get this free thing that I offered you, or this guide or book, software tool, whatever, okay? So what happens here is this is an exit pop, right? It says, wait, don't leave empty-handed. Boom, it'll take them back to the opt-in. Now, I have a timer on it so that it doesn't pop up a million times, but you could see it literally, it comes up on an exit. So when they go to exit, it's got like a 3-minute timer so it doesn't drive people nuts. But when they go to exit, it'll have that pop-up come up. This is something, I remember years ago, I paid for a program that did this. Now in AI, we can do this and make it custom and everything like that. Super important stuff. When we look at exit intent pop-ups, this is something I use all the time. It's very, very good. We're using what's known as an exit intent inline pop-up. An out-of-line pop-up would mean it's actually popping up like another window. We don't want to do that. Most browsers will just block that anyway, okay? Super important. So using exit intent pop-ups are very easy. You can go over to Gemini or something like this, or even ChatGPT. ChatGPT can do this pretty good. I can say, create a simple exit intent pop-up code for my HTML website that says, wait, don't go, click here, right? And you can tell it what you want it to click here, right? And then usually when I'm doing code, I'm gonna drop down to Canvas just so I can see a demo of it, and it'll go through and it'll show you what it looks like. But using an exit intent pop-up is actually a very good tool. We've done it all the time. This is something where people do pay for this. So like if someone has a website or they want to put it on WordPress or something, this is something where you can customize it. And a lot of people miss out on the fact that these simple things do work extremely well. And if you do preview, it should have a preview. I could say, now make it on a simple page so I can preview, right? And if you do it on a simple page, it'll give you a little preview that you can see. And then, of course, it's just a matter of copying the code to your web server. Super easy, not too hard to do. Exit pop-ups are very good. That's something you want in your arsenal because it will help your clients and it will help you as well. Going through, having that there usually gets me like 30 to 50% more opt-ins, sometimes even more, which like, okay, if I'm doing all the work to get them here, I would want that to capture the lead. Next up, we have multi-step form. A multi-step form is important because this is like micro commitments. So what's going to happen with a multi-step form is you're going to go through and you're going to have several things. So let's say someone comes to my website from a YouTube video, a Pinterest, or even a Google search. They come to my website and I'm like, hey, what's your name, right? Name. And they'll put like George or whatever, okay? Then I can take them to the next step and it's like, George, I see you're looking for a new website. What do you want? I want a blue website that captures leads and helps me make money with a database. Okay, great. So what would happen is you would take them through multi-steps, and then at the end, it would ask for information, and they would become a lead. Now, this works really well because if you have a big, long form, people aren't going to fill it out. They like starting with their name. It's micro commitments. Going through and making these is really cool because what's going to happen is it's going to be a breadcrumb technique. Instead of asking for 10 things at once, which scares people away, you ask for one small thing at a time. Micro commitments lead to higher completion rates. So with the AI, I could go through and say, create an HTML form split into 3 fields. Step 1, contact, 2, 3, whatever. Going through here, I'm going to use either Claude or Gemini. Gemini will do fine with it because Gemini will have a cookie. I'm going to go into Canvas. Now, when building, if you're building for a client or for yourself, I'm going to put that prompt in here, okay? So I'll have the prompt like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it my info. So if I want this for AI Profit Scoop, let's give it my logo. So I'll say using this logo and a black background PHP web page, create, let's give it the logo, create an HTML form split into 3 sets, contact details. Let's do name and desired outcome. Details, review. Instead of review, I'm going to do name already filled with the info from step 2 and spot to put email and maybe phone number or whatever, okay? So going through here, we're going to look at this, and we'll have all this ready to go. Let's do make it for the make money niche. And it asks how much they want to make, how much time they have, ECT or whatever, ETC, right? And you're going to go through and have this, and it'll actually create that step for you, and it'll probably be contained in one page, so it'll be pretty cool. So we can literally make whatever we want, and a lot of people don't understand, like with AI, you can make whatever you want. We have brand new beginners that are in AI Profit Scoop that are making full-on web tools, which like 3 years ago was unheard of. People weren't able to do this. They had to pay a lot of money for it. Now the barrier of entry for a lot of this stuff is just completely game-changing. So here we have your Wealth Roadmap 2024. Obviously, we would change it to 2026. These are things you would do in what's known as like post-production, where it's like, okay, I'm going to tweak this a little bit. Maybe I'll have my logo. So I do like make it 2026, have my logo at top. Okay, so I'll put that. Let's test it though. So name, Marcus, desired goal. You could have a drop down which would be like, okay, quit my 9 to 5. Then we're going to go through. Next step, see how it saves the data. Okay, what do I want to make? I want to make $1 bazillion. How much time do I have? 20 hours. Next step. Now what's happening is it's already going through and it saved all that info. Now they can put this in and boom, there we go. Let's make it 2026, have my logo at the top, make the drop boxes black background or dark gray, and have the recap info on the form at the end, and pass that info to my Aweber. What'll happen is now I can program this with Aweber, and now it'll be like, oh, here's all this guy, here's what he wants to make, here's how much time he has, here's his goals. Starting to understand this is game changing. Type game changer if you're like, oh, I get how this would work. And then what's going to happen is we're going to finalize it. We're going to put it on the site. We're going to plug it in. It'll say, oh, hey, replace it with your Aweber list name. Boom. Now it'll go in there and make that work, which is really cool. Someone says, would you use a PHP code, a floating chat widget that stays in the bottom of the screen? Depending on what you want that to do, you might use Java. Like if you want it to actually do stuff, Java. If you want it to just sit there, PHP is going to work just fine. But Java if you want like a live chat. So let's test it out now. Marcus, select your path. Good, it did change those colors. High yield hustle. Continue. What do I want to make? A lot. Full time. Continue. Now we have our roadmap. Okay, it did not put my logo. That might be open image in a new tab. Okay, that might be an error in this, because what's happening is we're looking at it locally on Gemini, not on the web. It might work on the web. So now we have claimed the roadmap. So now we have a full process that can work. Now, theoretically, this should work right out of the gate on our website. So if I go like this, copy this code, I could go over to my website over here. This is blogging to the bank. Let's say I want a new folder. I'll call this like quiz or whatever. Quiz, right, like that. Create new folder. I'll call it quiz. Let's call this file index.php. Whatever you do on index will show up on the main folder. So now we'll do edit, paste that code in from Gemini. I should be able to go to bloggingtothebank.com/quiz, and you could see the beautiful website we made last week, which is already getting picked up in Google. This stuff is not super hard to do. You just need to be dedicated, and you be willing to do it. Quiz, right, like this, boom. Now we have it, right? Here we go. Now the image isn't working, but we can probably remedy that. See how it has placeholder? I can remedy that. All I would do is do Control F, placeholder, replace that with my image. Boom. And this, here we go. Save, image, save. That should fix it. Let's see where it went. So now it looks like it's, there it goes, it fixed it. So now our logo's there, right? Is this making sense to everyone? And if it was your client's logo, you just put it in there. Super cool, right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start to understand how it works. So let's test it. Marcus, select your path, financial freedom, how much I wanna make. Boom, next, great. And then all I would have to do is look for the Aweber stuff, Control F, list name, there's list name. I could probably put that in there, and boom, there it goes. And then it has a thank you page. So what's happening is I just created a full custom solution that gets all their answers and their understanding, passes it to the lead. This is valuable to a business. I know, because I've been doing this for many years. Multi-step forms are absolutely amazing, and they can help you do all kinds of things, like maybe have a little quiz, right? And then at the end of the quiz, click here to get your data or whatever, right? Always make sure that you are using data in a secure way. Always have privacy policies. Always lock your SQLs down like crazy. It's not super hard to do. You just have to really look at it, and then you can even have AI test it for you. Next up, we have form memory. This is important. A user fills out a form, 90% of it accidentally refreshes the page, and all of a sudden, everything's gone. What this will do is it'll keep persistence and store it locally on Java so that they never lose their data, which is great, right? So if they're filling out a giant form, like, you know, you go and get a health insurance quote, and it's like, oh, shoot, I spent an hour filling the thing out, and all of a sudden it times out, Now I got to start over with my name and whatever. Form memory is a great way to get this working. Also, having memory of when people are at your sites. So like when you look at AI Profit Scoop 2026, which is where we have that challenge we were building, now it's not asking me for my email because it already knows I'm a member and it already remembers that I'm this person, right? So if I like hit submit daily entry, this submission form literally will give, it's tied to me, right? Understanding this stuff's important because what it's going to do is it's going to help you convert better and it's going to help you make more because now you have that memory and I can go through and be like, oh, I remember this guy came from a TikTok video. It's going to keep that in memory every time. This is super big and super important, especially when you do email marketing and different things like that, getting people back. Another thing that is a fan favorite is countdown timers. Countdown timers are really big. We had this on one of our pages yesterday. We put it on aiprofitscoop.com/go. And this had this countdown timer for 5 o'clock at night. And you could see the timer works really good. What I did here is I had it add it to the page. This entire page was created with AI. You can go check it out, see how it works. Again, it's a matter of knowing what you want to do, and then AI will literally do this for you and create that, right? So we could go through and use a prompt like create a JavaScript countdown or even a PHP one or whatever it is, and it'll add it. I can even say now add a countdown timer at the top on all steps. That way it's always counting down and it's like, oh, hey, you got 15 minutes to fill this out or whatever. Now, when using this, make sure that you don't use false scarcity. Always be honest and upfront and be like, hey, you know, this is how it works. If there's a false scarcity, they'll see through it. It's not always the most ethical thing to do. But I would go through, instead of false scarcity, add something real. Maybe give them something, you know, once or whatever it is. But adding a countdown timer is a fantastic way to make things work, especially if you're like, oh, there's a price increase, like we did on AI Profit Scoop. This was for the price increase, and it has increased. There's no false scarcity. The thing did increase. Starting to look at that's key. But creating those calculators or those countdown timers, see how it has that there? It's counting down right there, reserve spot. Pretty cool. Making these things really robust is key. And again, understanding how and where everything works. This triggers FOMO, which works really good. And you can make any type of countdown timer you want. You can make it look however you want. You can make it behave however you want. Like if I want it to time out and then that person never gets to see it again, hey, I could do that, right? So we'll get into this in just a minute, but you could do that with like an order form or something like that. Countdown timers are very, very big. Next up, we have quiz funnels. Quiz funnels are much like the step-by-step process we did, but it would be more specific. So what I would do is I would take this prompt and I would say, now let's make a quiz funnel, turn this into a full quiz about making money online. Let's move this over here so you guys can see me, right? There we go. Making money online, their skill level, and everything. And what this will do is it'll turn it into like a little quiz, and I can use that quiz to go and get people to fill out the quiz, right? That's going to get more engagement and everything like that. And this is the kind of thing that'll help you get traffic too, because you could go out there and be like, how smart are you with AI? Take the quiz. And you can make these as robust as you want. If I went into Claude and said, for my PHP server, I want to create a custom how smart are you about AI quiz. Let's have 21 questions and make sure it logs all the answers for when they log in to get the results. Log the answers as a number code. Q1 equals 4 or something like that. Make it so the system knows what those are. Okay? For my PHP cPanel, right? And what this will do is it'll start to make that. Let's see if we should drop down. I think it'll do it in Canvas automatically, I believe. But let's go ahead and run this. And then what will happen is it'll build the whole thing, which is great. Someone says quizzes are great. People love testing their knowledge. Who wants to be a millionaire? Exactly. That's like, it's game over. And this is one where if I go into my AI groups and I'm like, how smart are you with AI? Have a bunch of simple little questions. This will go through and do it, which is absolutely key, right? Understanding that is the biggest thing ever. And you can see it's coming up with all the questions, which is great. And here we go. And we'll take the test, see how smart I am with AI. I'm probably going to fail. I'm not good at tests. But going through there, you'll start to see, hey, I could literally make whatever I want. The sky is the limit. Looking at our Google one or Gemini one here, let's say Marcus, boom, and it should turn this into a full quiz. Current experience, advanced, okay, financial target, next step, weekly commitment, full-time, investment capacity, aggressive, final analysis. There we go. Boom, it'll lead to Aweber, and it does all that good stuff. And again, this is our snapshot, which now, I mean, I could make it send the people that have 1,000 to invest to a different list, right? Starting to look at this is like, okay, this is where we graduate from like playing and guessing at internet marketing to actually building businesses and being able to make stuff for clients, right? This kind of thing you can do over and over and over again. Social proof, this is a really good one. You can go through and have like testimonial placeholders or pop-ups. I know there's pop-ups that'll say, oh, hey, this guy ordered, like John from Cincinnati ordered 5 minutes ago or whatever. Those kind of things used to cost like $60 a month. Now you can have those on your own, tied into your own thing, where like it would get the data, right? We could go through and have social proof. Let's say you wanted to have a custom solution. So let's open a new Gemini over here. And what I'll do is, again, knowing what to prompt is key. And if you go to AIProfitscoop.com, this is the stuff we teach every week. And sometimes we have like more robust tools classes you can join. Right now we have one on the horizon coming up. So if you like this stuff, you might want to check that out. But if I go in here and I say, let's make a, let's see, we were going to get the prompt. It was social proof. Let's make a opt-in form with custom social proof. I want the proof to get the first name and country of the last 15 opt-ins and rotate them in a box on the lower left corner, or let's do right corner of the screen. And this should do it. So let's make an opt-in form, opt-in to get my free AI Manus guide. Okay, something like this, and then what'll happen is it'll know what to do, and it'll probably make like a little database of the latest people, or maybe even just like a little script that puts it on a file, which is pretty cool. And then you're seeing, okay, so now it did React, so I'm gonna say not in React, do this in PHP or HTML. So that'll fix it, because in React it'll be too difficult on our stuff. That's for like if you're programming serious things, like Facebook is written in React. That's a complicated program. So now we can go through and we can create something like this that'll work really good. And then what I would do is I'd tie it into this. I can even say, now let's add a social proof element. Now, pause real quick. I want you to think about all the tools that make this stuff happen, right? Like I have paid to the tune of like tens of thousands of dollars a month for various different tools. Some of them are very simple. Some of them are very complicated or whatever. And going through and understanding that, we need to understand, okay, where does this fit? How do we do it? Okay? And now I can sell this to people, and the value proposition is like, hey, you can go spend $500 a month on all these tools, or you could pay me $1,000 one time, or pay me $100 a month, and I will make sure this is always updated for you. Are you guys starting to see the power of this? It just keeps going and going and going. And when you start to dial in, oh, I can do this for pool service companies. I can do this for personal trainers. I can do this for these people. Now we start to see how it all works. Now, if I go through here and say, now let's add a social proof element where it shows in the bottom left the last 10 people who opted in, one by one, rotating name and country only, right? So now we have name and country only, right, like this, and boom. It'll understand the logic behind it. So now this one here, single file architecture, Firebase real-time sync connects to the shared database, so it is going to be a database, rotating social proof. So now what's going to happen, and this is probably why there's an error, because it's not connected to a database. We would need to make it. How do I make the database? And this will go through and show you how to make the database. Again, I can't stress it enough, but we have someone who works here. You guys have probably seen her if you're in AI Profit Scoop. Elena goes through, and she taught herself vibe coding with AI. Like, I taught her a few things, but she went in and just used AI to learn this stuff. She's like, oh, okay, how do I make a database? How do I make this work? And she learned it, and now she's got skills that, I mean, some of them I have to go to her to ask things because it's stuff that I didn't learn. So this is something you can teach yourself. If you use the AI right and you know what to ask, and you use it on something you want to build, like going through all these elements we're talking about, build them on a site, watch it grow, watch it build, go through and say, okay, can I now make a password protected area? Can I do this? Can I do that? Starting to understand that's key. Now, this here is giving us a whole deal, right? So this is a config database process quiz. So this is like a full script in and of itself. This is the kind of thing you can make custom, upload it, tie it into the database, and bada bing, bada bang, you're ready to go. Understanding this will absolutely help you if you're doing these for clients or even yourself. This takes you into the next level of making money. This has helped us where now I can make a quiz, I can make a tool. I made this entire thing. It's a robust database, everything, and I didn't even have to ask my programmer. That's a game changer, because if I can do this quick, boom, I can get something out there right away. Like yesterday, there was something with TikTok. If I was in the TikTok market, I can make something quick that's like, oh, hey, you know, learn this about how to keep your audience on TikTok or whatever it is. We could go through and start to use it. Important, because we want to be able to hit these things very quick. Now, going through here, you have your guide, and it'll do the social proof. See how it has it there? It says, you know, Alex from whatever joined, and it pops up. I think, yeah, you guys see that there, right? Super cool. And then boom, there we go. Really cool stuff. Now, it looks like just demo info for now, but once I connect it to that database, it'll work. So now it says dynamic social proof. The element rotates. Okay, let's ask it where it's getting the data. Aweber custom, where does it get the data for the social proof element? And if you go look this up right now, like, there you go. You're ready to go. You could put that, you can start selling that to customers, because there are tools on the market that they have to pay for to do that. Now you can make a custom version for them, which is way better than these generic tools. In the age of AI, we're going to get into the custom era where people are going to want this. So it's recent opt-ins. So it's a JavaScript. That's awesome. So what's happening is the JavaScript is like John, Canada, boom. It'll log that. So it doesn't even need a database, which is really cool. Are all these listings placed on different websites with different domains? It's up to you. If you're doing this for a client, it would be on theirs. If you're doing it for yours, it'd be on yours. But yeah, going through, you're going to put it on the site that you want it on. Now, going through, that was the social proof. You can also do a sticky call to action. This is a call to action button that sticks to the top or bottom of the screen as the user scrolls. Why would you want this? Well, you might want this for being able to get more people to opt in. So what I would do is I would use this prompt. And again, all these prompts will be available. I'm going to have all of the prompts in AI Profit Scoop. I'm going to put them there tonight for members. I'll give you guys a couple of them if you opt in, right? But if you become a member, I'll give you all of them, all kinds of cool stuff. It takes us a while to put these together, so I think the membership is very worthwhile. I think if you appreciate the stuff that I put out, you're going to love it. But going through here, let's say I wanted to go to blogging to the bank. Okay, so I go to blogging to the bank, right, like this. Here's our site. We can see on the main page, it's a big, long scrolling thing. All right, so this is great. This is wonderful. But I would want people to opt in. So I could go through. I can take this page. So let's go up and get the page. And I'm a big fan of editing right on the web. So I'm just going to find the index page. There we go. Index, edit. I'm going to take this index page. I'm going to go to a new Gemini. So we'll go over here. I'll go Canvas. I'll put that in. And then I'll take my prompt, write a CSS code for fixed position footer bar with buy now. I'm going to center it. So I can go up here, right up here. Okay. And I'll say, instead of buy now, I'll say, get this entire list plus prompts. Button that only appears when the user scrolls past the hero section. Big, huge button centered. Okay, so what will happen is this will now create that page with the new thing on it. Right, this is really cool stuff because what this will do is it'll increase opt-ins because instead of this giant directory list, now when they scroll down, it'll be like, boop, get the whole thing. Cool stuff, right? So now watch what happens here. We're going to use this element. And again, all these elements are based on things that have made me money. So see how that button pops up? Boom, I like it. So now we'll do copy, go to the index, boom, save, reload, and now we have this. Boom, get the entire list. Scroll down to see see the big button. So I'd probably remove that part. So I would just take this and I'd say, don't have this box, just have the whole page as it was with the button. So they can keep scrolling with that button there. And the button goes to HTTPS www.aiprofitscoop.com in new window. So what will happen is it'll put it in a new window. Boom, here we go. It's going to create it, and then we're off to the races. Starting to see how all these elements line up is absolutely key. We also have interactive calculators. Again, you can go through and make a calculator. Maybe you're like, oh, how much is it going to cost to get a custom website with database? It'll go through and it'll do that for you. You can make whatever calculator you want. You can say, write the JavaScript logic for a savings calculator or a website hosting calculator or how much is AI API going to cost me calculator. These are things that can work extremely well. Also, we could have progressive profiling where instead of getting like all the info up front, you can have them add to it. So visit 1, you get the lead magnet, ask for the email. Visit 2, you could ask for the first name. Visit 3, you could ask for the job title. What this does is it allows you to get more info as you go along. This is something that we did on AI Profit Scoop where they'll go through, and I believe there was a challenge we had where they can do, I think it was application, and they can go through and do the application, and this now adds to their info. So now I'm getting more info, I'm getting more data. And this is super important because now I'm gathering more stuff and it doesn't have to be right away. It'll just add to it like a customer relationship management software or CRM or something like that. You can also do the conversion stack where you're going to go through and have a high performance site that isn't just one tool, it's the integration of everything. So what you could do is make a checklist or something like that and then have a lead capture. Timed scroll pop-ups. This is much like we're doing here, where it is a timed deal where it's like, okay, once they scroll past this certain area, then make sure they get that big button. There we go. Let's get the code here, and I'll show you what it looks like. So we'll do Control A, Control A, Control C. Did it do that? I think I got it. Control A, Control C, and then we'll just paste it in here. Save, and then we should have it right here. And you can make all these things talk to each other too, which is really cool. So now we have the giant page. They scroll down, the button pops up. They can still see all the other stuff. Button leads to AI Profit Scoop. We're good, right? Are you guys seeing how all this ties in? It's like, wow, I could literally make whatever I want. Obviously, be sensitive with data and certain things that you're doing. Make sure that you're using databases that are secure and all of that stuff. Timed and scroll pop-ups are a great way to go through and create more opt-ins, more people looking at different things, options where it's like, oh, what do you want? And oftentimes when I ask what people want, like, oh, do you want to learn the tech side, the money side, or this? Do you want to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds, or 80 pounds? Getting that data, what I would do is I'd make a back end that actually tracks so that I could see, hey, most people that are on my site want to lose 80 pounds. Good, now I can adjust. You can also go through and pass that data to the next page. So instead of, hey, you want to lose weight, it'd be like, hey, Frank, I know you want to lose 80 pounds, and you hate going to the gym. Read this. Now you have a sales letter custom for them. That's going to convert like crazy. This is stuff that you start to stack and work. You can also have inactivity slide-ins where maybe they're on your website for like an hour or whatever. It could be like, hey, you've been here an hour. Why don't you buy something or whatever? This is a pattern interrupt. Works very, very well. You can have sticky bars or fabs, floating action buttons, kind of like the little button we made for them to opt in, or a chat widget, or maybe it'll pop up and say like, free shipping or whatever. And when you look at this, you can have it make an example of sticky bars and fabs. If I was to go through and say, now add some sticky bars and fabs, it'll go through and it'll do that. And you can kind of use the AI to learn how these work. So what I'll do is over at AIProfitScoop.com, I'll have this entire list for you with the notes when they're done. And then you can go through and you can ask AI, hey, what does this look like? What would a fab look like? What would a sticky bar look like? What does all this stuff do? That way you can learn as you go. I'm a big believer of like the best way to learn the parts of a brain are to look at a model, right? Rather than reading in a book. I want to look at a model and be like, oh, there's where the amygdala goes. There's where the hippocampus is and all this other stuff. That's how you're going to learn it rather than like, oh, let me read this text and hope that I understand it. So going through here, it'll help you understand exactly how these things work. And then whether you're doing it on your own or a client asks for it, you can build this in a really cool way. Overlay models, this is a window that appears on top of the main context. So that would be kind of like if we were to do this one here for 2026. If I open this in an incognito tab here, it should reverse and have that. See how that pops up and it grays out the rest of the site? So you really can't do anything unless you opt in. That would be what's known as a lightbox effect. And these are very easy. You just say, write the HTML structure for a lightbox effect. I want them to opt in. Make sure once they opt in once, no matter how many times they visit the site, it never shows again. Very important, and these are the kind of things that we can do with AI. These used to take weeks, months to build. Now with AI, you can do this in super fast. And if you know what you're doing, you can do this as a business for clients and for yourself. Micro animations, this would be like wiggling or have a heart popped up when clicked, something like that, or an input field shaking when the password's wrong. Little animations you can work. Again, the prompt for that would be like create an animation or make the button wiggle or something like that. Super simple. So now we have this here with the floating action button. See that? There's our floating action button. Pretty cool. It shows you, oh, like I read all this part. That's still working. The scroll bar one. So we have get all 250. That's new. I like that. That goes there. So that's the floating action button as well. And then I can go through and say, oh, maybe I want micro animations. So let's say now add some micro animations to the buttons to make it more fun or whatever, and maybe a heart when clicked or whatever, okay? This will go through and do that. Do not underestimate this stuff. What I'm showing you here, if I had, when I was doing my Smiley Faces glitter graphics website back in the day, instead of making a couple of $1 million, I probably would have made like $10 million on it. Because I wasn't able to do this. I had programmers I talked to that would help me with little stuff. If I had this AI tool in that niche back then, game over, because I could have made whatever I want. And this is where you start to understand where the logic happens. Let's say you have a website about pregnancy, and I actually did. We had one about like pregnancy trackers. And this is something people look up a lot. And I thought to myself, well, I'll bet people would like a pregnancy tracker where they go in and it's like, oh, you're 6 months, your baby now has toes, he thinks like this, and he's starting to eat on his own, or whatever it is, right? And it shows an image, and it's like, little Gloria, birthday, estimated, go share this on social media. And I mean, what pregnant mother isn't going to be like, oh, cool, hey, look at this. They go share it, it has your brand on it, other moms go get it. This is what starts to make things go viral. Starting to understand that's key. And when you go and you create cool things like this, obviously being aware of customer data, right? Obviously being sensitive to all the things, this is what is going to change the game. Little tiny tweaks that make things different. It's not being first to market. It's not getting the most traffic. It's about little tweaks that help that conversion rate go up exponentially. When you're doing this for yourself and for your clients, this is what changes the game. Going through our next one here, pre-populated fields. I have made multiple 7 figures, maybe even more, with pre-populated fields. What does this mean? Well, what a pre-populated field does is it takes data from one thing and puts it on the next. So years ago, and I had a site, and it was about the tattoo one. This was a very, very famous site. Everyone was talking about this back when I started it. With the tattoo site, what I did is I would have them put their name and email in, and maybe, there'd be a drop down of like, do you want a butterfly tattoo, a motorcycle tattoo, but whatever, okay? What would happen is this data would go to my Aweber. So I'd build a mailing list of all the people who wanted the designs. Then on the next page, I was able to pre-pop certain things. So let's say you're doing Amazon, and you're like, okay, or maybe you're doing some other store. And you're like, okay, this guy likes cooking. He wants to get an Instapot for cooking turkey. I can pre-populate it and say, send them to the page on Amazon about turkeys and Instapots or whatever. Or if it's an email submit, so like right now there's an offer on Offer Vault. It is a email submit for like career finding. All you have to do to get paid on that is get a user to put their email in for a free career guide. So if I could take that and pre-populate emails or zip codes or whatever, obviously being safe with people's data, keep it all locked down and good, I can then have that already there, which is going to make the conversions go from like 10% to like 50 or 60. I've done this before. It works really, really well. And again, that's talking about the conversion rate on an opt-in, not like a sale. But going through and making pre-populated fields is a game changer. Some affiliate offers allow you to do that, and it works so well. Next up, we have preference and geo memory, where you can remember, like, do they like dark mode or light mode? Do they like to sort by price? Do they like stuff in their location? Super, super cool. Returning visitor detection, where it will say, hey, welcome back, and it'll remember what they want. Conditional logic and validation. This is where you would have smart stuff, right? Someone said, yeah, so you would just get another, like Amazon, they have a period of time where you have to make a sale, and then you just apply again if you don't hit that. But going through here and looking at conditional logic and validation, you would look at like, okay, if they put this in, remember it. Or if they say they want to spend this money, they go do this, or whatever. Starting to understand that's key. It's going to reduce frustration, and you can have like a little listener that says, oh, if they select business owner, make sure every time they come to the site, they're treated as a business owner. Super cool. That's like why if you have a business account and you go to Amazon, you're seeing business stuff versus other, because it remembers. These are the foundations and the building blocks that multi-billion-dollar companies use, and now these little snippets are at your fingertips that you can use with AI. Button-based inputs where you could go through, instead of having menus, they can click buttons and it'll remember what they do. Auto advance, where maybe they say, hey, I already know how to build a website, boop, it scrolls them down to the part where it has something else for them, right, instead of reading all the basic stuff. Partial form capture, where you could go through and capture part of it and then get the rest of it later. Quiz types, where you can make different quizzes. Dynamic results, this is where you can have a thank you page that instead of like, hey, thanks everyone, it would be like, thanks Frank, you filled this out and I know you want to lose weight by unicycling, here's how to do it, right? Get your free unicycle or get your unicycle or whatever it is, right? A prompt for that could be write a JavaScript switch statement that takes the variable and it'll have the score. Much like we did over here with this one, where it's keeping score of what they're doing with the quiz and it's putting that into the next parts, right? Here's all the answers, it'll log it, it has an answer key, it'll give it a score. I mean, you could make literally whatever you want. And when you understand that, the whole world becomes your oyster, because now all I need to do is find things people want online, make something creative for them, drive traffic to it, and have a way to make money, right? Find affiliate programs or whatever it is. Like maybe they go through and you have like, hey, let's create the travel profile. Let's say we go through, we'll do a new Gemini over here. And I could say, let's move this over here. Let's make a travel profile quiz to help people understand how they can save money based on their preferences. At the end, it gives a custom report on how they can save money. List out all the options that are possibilities with areas I can put my affiliate links. Lean heavy on credit card rewards. Let's do travel, credit card rewards, and ones that might fit. So what's going to happen here is we're going to now build a travel profile quiz that'll remember all their stuff, basic stuff. You know, do you like taking luggage? Do you like flying or taking the train? Do you like cruises? It's going to remember and make that quiz, and at the end, it'll go through and be like, well, the best option for you is, you know, the Capital One Cruise Lovers card. See how it goes to React? We're going to say not in React. Please, for cPanel, PHP. It'll go through and it'll fix that. And then what'll happen is we'll get that quiz, and now I can do that. Now I can go to social media, promote the heck out of how to save money on travel, and then have like, take the quiz. That's better than, hey, visit my website. Oh, go to my website. No, take the quiz. How smart are you with travel rewards? Go check it out, right? That's going to get people that are interested and get people that are wanting this stuff, right? You can even do like, how often do you eat out? Okay, find ways to save money. Are you tired of tipping $1 million for 1 cup of Starbucks coffee, right? Here we go. Here's our travel savings optimizer. Get my custom report. What's my typical vibe? Luxury and comfort. Monthly spending, 3,000 plus. Primary goal, I want cash back for everything. High value traveler. Chase Sapphire. Do you guys see how this is absolutely insanity when it comes to like, now I can plug affiliate offers that are custom. This is going to take your affiliate marketing to the next level for those that are paying attention. I can also tie that into Aweber. I could also tie it into affiliate links or whatever. And it'll actually tell you where to put your affiliate links. They'll probably have like a big list at the bottom, affiliate link here. I mean, game-changing stuff when you start to understand it in the real world. Progress indicators. This is where, like, if you're doing a big quiz, you could have your 30%, your 40%. I can say, now on our travel quiz, let's say I want to make it more robust. Okay, so we'll do make this more robust, have them opt in before the report, and have a custom CSS progress bar. Boom. Stacking, building, growing, testing, starting to understand, hey, I want to think about my viewer, think about what they'd actually want, think about how it's going to get the most money possible by helping them in the best way. Now it'll go through and add that progress bar. While it's doing that, let's take a look at some others. You can have day-locked content. This we did in a really cool way, where on our challenge over here, we actually locked these by day. So like, if it wasn't day number 3, this was by January, so if it wasn't January 3, this one would say coming soon, or this will be available on January 3. Starting to look at that, it's a game changer when it comes to thinking about your market. So you could lock those based on day. Gamification, that's how you have challenges and games and things that people can get involved in. Primary and secondary call to actions. You can have like buy now or learn more, where you have a buy now button and a learn more button. That way, if they're not ready to buy, they can learn more and then buy. Or a ghost button, where the button isn't visible unless they do something. This would be fun. This, you could go through and be like, okay, I have a sales page. If you read the entire sales page and answer the buttons correctly, you will get a coupon button. Watch. This is cool, right? Going through, I could be like, okay, let's do, let's say we have, I think we have, let's just do a sales letter. So we'll do, now scatter through the page little questions about sales. When each is clicked correctly or answered correctly, it unlocks the button that is grayed out and not working that says save $50 or whatever, right? So now you're going through and it'll make this walk them through it. It's going to make your sales letter way more fun because a sales letter is designed to educate your market. And if they're interactive in the process, that's the key. I'll never forget it. Years ago, there was an ad that was created, and it was called, do you make these mistakes in English? And it was talking about like different things people say wrong. And the entire ad was to make them spot the top wrong things in the ad copy. So you were like hooked to the ad copy, reading it, not knowing it was an ad, and you were interactive, which is what this will do. This will go through and it's like unlock your sales discount. So you go through, find the little questions. Which principle uses fear of missing out? Limited time value, that's going to be urgency. Going through the next one. What technique involves getting a customer to agree with a small? That is foot in the door. Yep. Next one, and see how it says answer one more to save 50. Are you guys seeing how this changes the game? When a customer sees an initial high price, that is the contrast, I believe. Yes, all right, I got 100% there. And now you get your 50% off. These are things that help you convert better. Think about your sales page. Can you make like an infotorial where they have questions? Hey, what kind of things have you tried to lose weight? And guess what? You can even have it log answers, right? So I would go through and I could say, what would this look like if I wanted to log the answers so that I could go in as the site owner and be like, yeah, most people got this one wrong, right? Now we're starting to see this is going to build and grow and start to get more people to do more on your site. Let's take a look at this one. So now it has the opt-in, and then the results are there. Next up, we have microcopy hover effects. So start trial, unsubscribe, that'll hover up a button, which is cool, okay? Disabled until. This is one where it's like, hey, you're not done yet. Fill this out, take this quiz or whatever. Then they'll have to do that to get that next part. Testimonials and case studies, we covered most of those already. Social proof counters, maybe you have like 100 people opted in or whatever, and it'll count it up, okay? Trust badges and guarantees, these work really well. Privacy assurance, scarcity mechanics, loss aversion and commitment, where it's like, hey, don't lose your discount, boom, pops that up. You're 80% done, just enter your email to finish or whatever. Commitment and consistency, this is all based on things that work. Future pacing, this is a good one for sales. On-site search, this is good. You got a glossary. I could go through and say, let's say we have our big file here. Now make a search box on top for them to look up marketing principles. This is a big one. This can also tie into other affiliate offers, right? Like maybe I can have that search pass to the affiliate link and it'll be like, oh, search here. This is stuff I've done when I promoted keyword tools. Works phenomenally. We have sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of different tools like this, basically by taking it and saying, okay, search for this keyword here, pass that variable on with my affiliate link, so they're looking at a custom keyword report for whatever keyword they're doing, that has my affiliate link. SEMrush does this, Mangoals does this, there's a couple others as well. In the age of AI, if you're not using this principle, you are missing out. And if you're finding this to be a little bit highbrow, like a lot of heavy stuff, join AI Profit Scoop. This is what we talk about all the time. I'll show you guys how this works. We have more time each week to show you live examples, look at your stuff, and help you out. So now I can go through here and be like, sales, boom. It'll go through and it'll search for the ones that are about sales. Let's do mind, or let's do emotion, trigger, right? All that kind of stuff. So it'll search for what they want. That'll keep people on your site longer. Works very, very well. On-site search, again, you can also pass it off-site. So like I can make it open a new window with the off-site one, or even my own version. I used to do these without AI, and it was like my, hack job of coding, but it worked well. Like this stuff made me money, and now that we have AI, we can make it even better and actually work functionally. Filters and sorting, you can go through and filter like, oh, what sizes work for me. Related content, this is key. This is the rabbit hole effect. So what I could do is I could say on each of them, have you might also like this. This is where I could go through and use Manus on my entire site, because this entire site was made with Manus. I could be like, oh, if you like the dopamine loop one, check these, right? And it would have similar stuff on my site to keep them on longer. Deep linking and redirects, where you could deep link to the source. You can link to an affiliate marketing product, all kinds of stuff. And it'll do this at the server level. Offer management, it'll figure out what offers they like, what they bought, and what they want. This is pretty cool. This is stuff where you're getting into more detailed knowing what your customer wants. Comparison and mapping, where you control the narrative, starting to look at little icons, visual clarity. Icons work like crazy. A simple site with little icons will outpull a complicated site. I get into this argument all the time with people where they think my sites look really basic, and that's by design, that's on purpose, because I want them to work in a good way. Click scroll tracking, this will go through and look at what people are doing when they leave. Form analytics, where people quit using the form, do they put their name in and then not opt in, what do they do? Heat maps, this is big. This is actually, if you look at Neil Patel, who does a lot of videos, I talked to Neil Patel years ago on the phone when he was doing Crazy Egg. He had this program that was like, oh, you can see what people click on your website, even if it's an image. You can see where they hover their mouse over this. It was known as heat maps, and it was a software I paid a lot of money for because we ran millions of visitors. I think I was the first one. He was like, what the heck are you doing? Most people run 200 people. You're running 20 million people a month through Crazy Egg. What are you doing, bro? And we got to talking about marketing and things, but he made a fortune on that software. Now you can make that software with AI in minutes. It's not that hard to do. Estimators and simulators, where you could do like a mortgage payment calculator, ROI simulator, or whatever it is, maybe fun little calculators for stocks or investing or whatever. Obviously, be honest and good. Like, what would have happened if you bought gold or Bitcoin or whatever? Interesting things. Before and after toggles where, you could slide. Oh, hey, this is what it looked like before, after. Apparently, the camera wants to follow my hand. Chat funnels where this is getting into AI stuff where they will text the funnel, learn about things. And by text, I mean like have a little chat, right? And that'll get you more sales. AI personalization, where you could figure out what it is they like, what they want, and personalize it to them. Now, with your implementation strategy, I will have this entire list over at AIProfitScoop.com. The roadmap is to go through, look at your website or your client's website, see how you can fix broken forms, add trust badges, look for the leaks in the content, and look where we can add these things. Where can I go through and add these elements in a simple way? If I have an opt-in page that's getting 1,000 visitors a day, how can I make that work better? How can I make it work better? Always understanding that we can always learn. Even though I've been doing this 26 years and I'm kind of like the grandpa of affiliate marketing, there are people that come up. There's a gal I was listening to the other day. She's like in her 30s. She's only been doing this a couple years. She's making a bunch more money than me, and she had this idea of micro products. Instead of selling a $500 product, sell a $20 product that solves one little thing. It's like, hey, I can learn from that. That's pretty cool. We're implementing it and it's working. Always being able to learn and always being able to grow and understanding that with AI, I can go to a website and be like, hey, I like that thing that popped up. Now I can have AI make that for me. Phase 2, optimize headlines and add social proof. Phase 3, implement exit intent. What happens when they go to leave? What happens when they put their name and email? Phase 4, make a full personalized funnel. This is the kind of thing where you can create a custom solution, save your customers and clients thousands of dollars a year, make money for yourself, and boom, you're ready to go. Or if you're like me and you're using this in your own business, save yourselves hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on programmers and start to learn that we can do this ourselves. Now, caveat, if you are getting into database type stuff, always have a pro web person look at it before you make it actually live and workable, because you want to make sure that everything's secure and there's no data leaks and stuff like that. A professional will look at this for a couple $100, whereas having a professional build it is going to cost thousands. So this will work really, really well if you do it. I'm going to have the list of all these over at AIProfitScoop.com. Remember, you can build these scripts and actually sell them as tools, or you can template the process to make it easier. Looking at the costs of a lot of these things, you can see that this is what people are paying right now for these types of things, and now you can build them with AI. So whether you do this as a side hustle, whether you're going out there and creating them on your own sites, make these work. I'll have this entire list over at AIProfitScoop.com so that you can get the list. For those who do join us in AI Profit Scoop in our monthly membership, you can actually get the prompts and everything. We're working on those prompts right now. We're going to have those ready for you probably tonight. We're adding a lot to AI Profit Scoop, which is why we raised the price last night, because I think it is well worth it. Even at the new price, it's like still a crazy deal. But go over to AIProfitScoop.com, check it out. Bare minimum, just get the list and start using it. Thanks for